Hey, I'm Frank Iero. I play in Frank Iero and the Patients. I'm in Berlin at Lido, and this interview is for all schools.
I'm tired of miracles and being so understood.
You've already played some shows in the UK with Taking Back Sunday, and yesterday your first gig in Germany of this tour in Cologne. So did you had a great time already, or how does it feel to be back on the road?
I was scared to go back on the road, but the shows have been really great.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's nice to be playing in cities that you really love, and to see a lot of familiar faces. You know, like there's been a lot of kids like coming to every show, and I love that. Like that to look out there and to see that, and see them having such a great time. It makes you feel really warm inside, and it makes you remember why it is that we do the things that scare us. You know.
So you like when people come after the show to you and say like, "Oh, great gig," or "Great to see you again"?
Yeah, no, it's always nice. I think that kind of stuff too is like it goes day by day. Like, sometimes if maybe you had a bad show or you're just having a bad day, and it's like, it's like the last thing I want to do is like just be around anyone. But sometimes that helps too, like to see like people that really care about what you do, and you see like how what you do affects people in a positive way. Maybe that sometimes brings you out of it, and sometimes nothing can bring you out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but,
I know what you mean.
But it's a daily thing.
Kind of pushes you.
Yeah,
forward.
Sometimes we all just need that time. But sometimes it's not like that, and you have a great time, like going out and meeting like 400 kids like in a line, like it's crazy.
No, yeah,
That's awesome.
it's crazy. That's true. So last October you released your new album Parachutes, and everybody knows now that you changed the name from Frank Iero and the Celebration to Frank Iero and the Patients. So what does this word patience mean to you related to the band?
Okay. Well, I felt like I was in a position where I could change the band name every time, right? And I figured, all right, well, if I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna choose a name that either represents where I am in that creative process or in my life, or I'm gonna choose a name of something that I feel like I need to bring with me, something that I need to kind of learn from, and this time around, I feel like having the virtue of patience, the ability to kind of take a breath and appreciate what's around you, to maybe not make rash decisions or snap so easily, to not really sweat the small stuff. It's kind of funny, like after everything that's happened, like I was able to go back and listen to the record, and even kind of like read things that I had written about getting the record together and like what it meant to me. And it was almost like this other person had left me this gift of like what I was going through, and what I could eventually get out of it, and that's a crazy thing. But yeah, I think that's universal though. I think we could all kind of use the ability to kind of slow it down. I've always been so I've always been so jealous of the people that are able to just kind of take that breath and relax. Like I've never relaxed. I wish I had that ability.
Very important, right?
Yeah.
To relax sometimes.
Yeah, because otherwise, at the end of it, you've just rushed everything by. You've worried about things so much that you didn't enjoy anything, And I see people that are like really enjoying themselves, and I'm like, "Fuck you!" Like, how do you get? How do you do that?
You do this? Yeah. I
Yeah.
can understand you, to be honest. And you really need patience. That's true.
Yeah.
Okay. So I watched an interview with you where you said that you actually didn't want to make a record when you did your first record, Stomach Aches, that you just wrote the songs for your own. And I want to know, when did you decide to make a record out of those songs?
I guess when, a friend of mine, Mac Alley, who's been my booking agent ever since I had a booking agent, he had asked what I'd been up to, and I was like, I was doing this thing with James, and doing this and that. I'm writing these songs. He's like, oh, well, play me some. And that's when I was like, oh, all right, well, if I was gonna play someone these songs that I was just writing in my house and recording, like what order would I put them in? Would I want someone to hear it? And that's when I started to think like, oh, what if somebody heard this? And then and he was like, you should really do something with this. Can I play it for some other people? And that's when I was like, oh, there's 12 songs here. I think at that point there was 14. But I always liked 12-song records. So I don't know why.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask why, but
Yeah, I don't. It's I have this thing about even and odd numbers. Things don't feel complete to me unless they're even. I don't know why that is. 13 seems cliche. 10. I always like some of my favorite records are 10-song records, but I've never felt like I could get everything I needed to say out in 10 songs. So 12's like that feels complete. Yeah. It's a dozen.
this is
Right.
good.
Also, too, like you get to split like 6 and 6 on A side, B side.
Yeah.
Kind of nice.
That's true.
But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why that is. But yeah, so I had that many songs, and I started to kind of put them in an order. And before I knew it, like Matt had played it for some people, and I got some phone calls, and I listened to some people and said, this isn't right. This makes me feel weird. And then somebody else finally got it and appreciated it for what it was, and didn't want me to, I don't know, re-record it or anything like that. I was like, all right, cool.
So they really just recorded at your house, the first album,
Yeah.
or
Yeah. Basically, I programmed drums and wrote songs to programming, and then I sent those songs to my friend Jared Alexander, who had played with MyCam and played with G and many other people, Death by Stereo and stuff like that. And he was coming out he was doing a session, I think, on the East Coast. And anyway, so like he came out, and I had him come up to Jersey for a couple of days. He played live drums for, I think, maybe, let's say 8 songs, and then I played drums on 1, and then the rest was just all programming that I did. And then just me in my basement, like recording vocals and guitars and bass and a little bit of keys and stuff like that. Yeah.
I thought you had a drummer or something, or another
Yeah, no, I
bassist,
mean,
or- okay.
Also too, like hats off to Jared for like coming in and just learning it and just flying around for
Yeah,
like 2 days
yeah.
and playing all those songs.
Okay, great. And so the record Parachutes was actually planned now, and what was the
Right.
difference to it?
Everything was different. I knew that I was writing a record that people were going to hear. I knew that it was definitely coming out. I knew that
There was kind of a pressure, or
yeah. I mean, well, that's the thing is I think when you come to those realizations, when you have this plan set in place, like, all right, this is the end game. You have a big decision to make. You can either go in and kind of heavily veil the things that you're writing, the things that you're saying, so that no one really gets in too deep. You can go the way of trying to placate and write what you think people want to hear, or you can say, fuck it, like this might be my only shot to make a record like this, with a little bit of money behind it, and chalk something off the bucket list and just make something from your soul that unapologetically is the thing that you've always wanted to do, and that's really scary. So when I said, all right, well, if that's what I'm going to do, I'm gonna try to find out if the guy that I know will push me to the brink is available or wants to make a record with me, and that's when I called Ross Robinson, and it felt like the stars were starting to align on that kind of a thing, and we went out there. We had 17 days. We recorded 12 songs, and I went to the doctors 3
Wow.
times.
Oh no, really?
I had to get steroid
Oh.
shots so I could finish it. But it was the single greatest creative experience of my entire life.
Oh,
Hands
great.
down. I cried almost every day. He threw shit at me. No, that's not an all thing. It's just like, no, I dug.
It's in a negative way.
No,
okay.
in a positive. It was unbelievable. Like, I dug deeper. I found out more stuff about myself as a person and as an artist than I ever would have found out. And I've been in band since I was 11 years old. Like, in those 17 days, I found out more than in the past 24 years.
This is crazy.
It was insane. Yeah, and yeah, I wouldn't change anything. Yeah.
And when it came out, how did the people react?
I have no idea.
You have no idea?
Yeah.
Didn't you look into press or something?
No, because what happened was, you know, we got into a pretty bad accident. We were in the hospital.
Yeah, okay, right.
Yeah.
That was the time.
It was just kind of like just trying to get home. You know, and when we finally got home, it was the last thing on my mind. You know? So.
Yeah, true. I
No,
forgot
that's all
about
right.
it
No.
for a second.
No, that's all right. That would be the normal thing to do, is, you know, to release it and then find out what people were thinking and then go out and do it. And I felt like that was kind of taken from me, you know? But I feel fortunate that I was able to kind of be able to get that back a little bit in the past couple of months, like working on getting better and kind of moving through it. You know, we're all here and we're still able to function, and now we're back on the road, which I didn't think we would ever do. You know what I mean? And it's great. Like, now I get to play those songs in front of people that I remember writing those songs and thinking to myself, all right, this song is going to start. Like, I wrote Roll Destroy, and I was like, all right, finally I know what's going to start the record, and I also know what's going to start the live set, and I can't wait to see it affect people, like, in front of my eyes. And that was a dream come true. You know, I get to see that on this trip. It was awesome.
Yeah, and that is better than press.
Yeah.
So people say in general that a band needs 3 albums to find their own style. What do you think about this band? Do you need another record, or do you have already plans for the future, or would you change anything?
Man, well, that's the good thing about that is that I've made a lot of records over time in different bands. And this solo project, like, yes, it's the second solo record, but it's also the first Patience record. So I've taken that away. So there is no sophomore record. There is no, you know, there's no threes. It's just whatever I feel like making. Yeah, I know that I have more inside me. Whether that is fit to come out into the world, I don't know yet. I kind of just let it dictate. It's like the songs dictate. I don't dictate the songs. You know, it's kind of like just channel them through you. They might come, they might not. They might just stay in my head. You know, but I'd like to think that I don't need another record to know who I am.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like I'm old enough to understand certain things. And at the same time, I don't know shit, and that's kind of awesome.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. It's a good balance.
Yeah, no, you need to figure out that you know nothing.
This is true. So, and actually my last question, well, parachutes are obviously lifesavers, and do you think it's the same with making music, or actually in general with music, that it saves lives?
I do. You know, it's weird. I had this conversation actually last night. We were talking about music and.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. I think, you know, sometimes people describe music and making art as a love affair, and I feel like it's not exactly that. It's more of an addiction, because music and art doesn't always love you back, and I feel like collectively, you know, as an artistic community, we're constantly chasing that high, you know, and because we know that even the best of times without it aren't even comparative to the low times with it, and it's one of those things where, yeah, it's a parachute, but at the same time, it's a parachute that can let you float forever, or it can also bring you down with like the snap of a finger. It's crazy. It's a lead-based parachute.